kind of dive into some plan benefits, you all. I'll tell you that from a high-level overview here in South Carolina, we do have some plan exits, and I'll share those with you pretty candidly. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off and kind of tell you where that's happening. On my other deck, had a slide for that, so that's not playing nice with us today. You see some of those gray counties. That's some of the areas where we're exiting. Anyone here ride a ton in Beaufort County? Yeah, it's tough sledding down there, y'all, just candidly this year. There's, I know we're not the only carrier that's got some exits down there, but we're certainly one of them. So I'm just going to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and share with you where we're exiting. I know I'm not the first person to roll through here and talk 2025 SHOP with you, so I know you've heard a lot of it before. Inflation Reduction Act, lower compensation going to carriers when it comes to coding multiple chronic conditions for folks with multiple chronic health conditions. So I think it's a projected $722 million decrease anticipated from Medicare to carriers like Humana next year in terms of what we get paid to manage someone with a chronic health condition. That being said, there's challenges, and here's some of the plans that are exiting certain areas, y'all. So our 279 is Humana's low maximum out of pocket, kind of high deductible at $750. That's a statewide plan exit. Okay, it was a move of $3,450. It's only been in the market about 3 years, but it is exiting statewide. That's our only statewide exit. Everything else will kind of be in select counties, but I'll give that to you now. And luckily, by the way, Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley is not on any of these lists except for that one I just mentioned. The 345 PPO has been our MAPD with a give back. Last couple of years, this year it's a $100 give back. It's a PPO. Again, that ends at 345. That plan is exiting Chester, Lancaster, Chesterfield, Horry, and Beaufort counties. Horry was the big surprise on there for me, but I've got some good news to share with folks losing that plan in Horry County. Our 347 PPO, this has kind of been I would call it our middle of the road PPO, no deductible, still pretty rich in benefits and lower copays. It's exiting Darlington and Beaufort. Our 280, which is our LIS PPO, is exiting Union, Chester, Allendale, and Beaufort. And then our good old Gold Plus HMO, this plan ends in 152, exiting Union, Chester, Lancaster, Chesterfield, and Beaufort. If you write in Beaufort, very candidly, and just to be transparent with you, what we have left is C-SNPs, D-SNPs, honor plans. There's a legacy PPO that's down there. It ends in 154. It's got a $64 Part B give back. It does have it's a PPO. It's got a deductible, but only for out-of-network services. So hopefully for a lot of your folks that don't want to consider or can't consider a med-sup, maybe if they're under 65, that becomes a viable option for them. So the silver lining, now that we've kind of ripped that Band-Aid off a little bit, is that you get a longer runway to get in front of these folks. If you hopefully you do that already, but December 7th is not your deadline. None of those folks that I just mentioned losing their plan are automatically being migrated to another plan. You will need to rewrite those folks on a new plan of some sort. You have past December 7th to do that. Starting on December 8th and actually extending through the end of February is SEPEOC for end of contract. And if you come across those folks during AEP, no sweat, just write AEP on the app. They'll be good for January 1st. But inevitably, some of those folks won't call you back till after December 7th, or you'll just have so much going on this year that you say, hey, you actually have extra time. I'm going to schedule you after December 7th. You can use that SEP to either put them on a different MAPD come January 1st or a PDP if they decide to go that route. You can use that SEP in January and February. However, if January 1st comes and someone losing a plan that I just mentioned has not made a choice, they do go back to original Medicare with no drug coverage. So they're going to be in a tight spot if they need to fill prescriptions come January and that kind of thing. So you obviously want to get to them before the end of the year. But again, inevitably, some of us have folks that will not pick up the phone, will not read their mail, and they'll go to use the plan in January and call you mad that it's not working. So you can still get them straightened out then. The other silver lining, y'all, is that anyone that's losing their plan involuntarily, all those folks that I just mentioned, are a guaranteed issue for a Medicare supplement. Okay? Humana does not write a plan in as guaranteed issue. That one still requires underwriting with us for some reason. It is unbeknownst to me. Can't seem to get a straight answer on that. But any other supplement in our portfolio, you're able to write a guaranteed issue. If you're going to present that option to someone, the supplement has to be written within 60 days of them losing their coverage, so on or after November 1st. With Humana, you could submit that supplement with a GI effective We'll talk a little bit about the Achieve products. If you're not familiar with our Achieve Medicare supplement, please give it some consideration. I realize for many moons, Humana was not a big part of the MedSet conversation, just from a cost comparison standpoint. I really feel like that Achieve products changed things for us a little bit here in South Carolina in particular. It does include a 12% household discount if there's anyone else in the home that's 18 years or older. So that no good son that lives in the basement, plays video games all day, finally return on that investment, 12% a month. We also offer $2 off for paperless billing. So if they do credit card or bank deduction on the billing cycle, there's another $2 off there as well. The biggest difference, if you don't know, between our Achieve supplement and our traditional supplements, which are the more costly version that's been around longer, the Achieve does not include silver sneakers, but what they're going to save in premium, especially with that household discount, they can pay Planet Fitness $10 a month and not go work out there.
Is that going to change in the future? I mean, maybe even like meet in the middle, maybe not be as expensive as the normal Humana one, but increase the price a little bit. That's a huge selling point. That's what they love as far as the MAPD. It's like, hey, silver sneakers. And you don't always have everybody using it, but at least it's available.
Right, and that's the thing is like the people who love it blow your phones up when it's a challenge and love it to death, but it is an underutilized benefit. So I would say it's not likely, just in the sense that, again, that traditional product, it's just expensive. If someone's shopping on price point alone, especially on a type of product where our, let's say, Plan G is going to be essentially identical in benefits to a United or a Aetna or Medco or whoever, I would say it's unlikely. And they're probably going to want to say, hey, price point's your thing, this is the product for you, what you're going to save in money, you want to go pay a gym, you're welcome to do it.
Quick question.
Yep.
With the plans that are exiting, if we can't get to our folks and they call Humana directly, will we get to them? And they get to the sales team there, will we still be honored that way?
Yes, your agent of record will be maintained. If they, for some reason, call in, if they get their ANOC or their plan exit letter, I should say, and they call in to 1-800-457-4708 or some other number that's printed on that letter, your agent of record is protected in that case, absolutely. Even if they enroll themselves on Medicare.gov, if it's a plan exit, you're going to be protected this year as well. I realize it's a pretty small percentage of consumers that go out there and do it that way, but a couple ways in which you would be protected, and those are a couple of them.
That wasn't the case in the past, was it?
Internal to Humana, yes. We've had our agent of record pledge in place for, since I was selling in Virginia many moons ago, so probably 6-7 years that's been the case. But if they call some other infomercial where they say representing Humana and Aetna, and it's not internal to Humana, if it's a Go Health or one of those other, dozen big call centers, you would not be protected. Okay.
When are those letters going out, the plan exit letters?
Yeah, so the ANOCs are starting to hit now. They're going to go out the last 2 weeks of September. The plan exit letters are closer to October 1. Yep. We do hope to get an example to share with you. We just don't have it ready right this second. But we do hope to be able to share that with you. If any of you need help, I'll catch you in 1 second. If any of you need help, like getting your Vantage, your book of business, and organizing by plan contract number and county number, I will schedule time to hop on a Zoom with you and do that. If you're not, super familiar with Vantage, there's a way to essentially export all of your active Humana policies into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you just sort by column. One of those columns being plan contract number, and then residential county. That Zoom may be at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, but I'll make the time. We'll make it happen. If you want to get a head start on that, and if you're not as comfortable with Vantage. Question on here?
Again, so the exit plans, if they want to go to Medicare supplement, we can't run them until after November 1st. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, we require that it's within 60 days of them actually
Is that
losing the
just Humana or is that the key?
I'm not sure. I suspect it's probably across the board, but I'd run that question by a Medco or United or someone else that you write on a regular basis. That being said, y'all, let's dive into some new plans. We're going to scooch over here and read along with you. This is one of our new HMO products this year. So this is a new MAPD with a give back. This is a $109 give back on the Part B. This is our largest give back on an MAPD here in South Carolina. I do want to talk about the MOOP. I know that's a pain point on all these slides. I'll just share with you we're $93.50 kind of across the board. Some of y'all been in this a long time, and you remember when some plans didn't even have a MOOP. Some of them it was $10,000, some of them it was $6,700, best case scenario. I get that it's a big selling point when it's $2,900, when it's $3,400, when you're selling against a med sup and you're saying, hey, you're already paying this much. The truth is, when it's not in that neighborhood, it's more of a safety net, and certainly one that Medicare doesn't offer. However, when I read that all of our plans had that mood, which is kind of maximized across the board, I went to our operations team, which is a group full of actuaries with Keith locked in a closet in Atlanta. I said, look, help me out with some stats here. I want to know what percentage of our members are hitting moves when they're not 2,900, 3,400. So here's this year. In 2023, in the Southeast region for Humana, which is the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia, when our members had to move over $5,000, 1.13% are hitting that. And I have to imagine as that number gets closer to $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, that percentage goes down even further. So we all have those folks. They're on dialysis, radiation, cancer treatments, a lot going on. Some of those folks are just going to hit a move on any plan, and absolutely those folks would want to be conscious of that when they're shopping. But for a lot of folks, it is truly just a catastrophic safety net, and that's kind of the speaking point I would encourage you to share when everyone gets that first line item in the plan, and I understand that's a challenge for a lot of folks. For the 345 PPO I mentioned is exiting Horry County. Please notice this plan is entering Horry County. So if you got someone who's loved getting $100 back on their PPO this year, good news, bad news, right? That plan is going away. However, we can get you up to $109 Part B give back. And I realize that everyone's different. I cut my teeth in an HMO market. Some people think it's a bad four-letter word. I had no problem speaking to an HMO even when I was an agent. Our HMOs are truly a national network. If you got someone that spends 6 months up in Ohio and 6 months down here, and you can't convince them to stay in Ohio, it's really okay. Like, it is truly a national network. When you go on Physician Finder, you type in that Ohio zip code. If the doctor they see up in Ohio when they're there is in our HMO network, good to go. No referrals, truly a national footprint. So I get it. HMOs used to be restrictive. They used to be regional networks. They used to require referrals. That's not the case anymore. A lot of our plans are introducing medical deductibles. You can see here on this one, it's only $300. Just like the plans that have medical deductibles with us this year, many services are excluded from applying to this deductible. So your primary care visits, specialists, urgent cares, lab work, ambulance rides, emergency room stays. So all of these are excluded from the deductible. Just like in years past, that'll be printed in the summary of benefits. Where you're most likely to incur that deductible with Humana is going to be outpatient surgery, outpatient advanced imaging, or inpatient hospitalization. On this particular plan, we're still at a $0 copay on the primary and $45 on a specialist. And by the way, the last 3 digits of this plan number, if you want to jot it down, what you will get this presentation is 169. So again, the 169 gives you 109 back, if that helps. You can see here that inpatient hospital stays $399 per day for days 1 through 6. I won't bore you with the line item on skilled nursing for all these plans because you know the deal. It's 0 for first 20 days. We typically mirror Medicare days 21 through 100. Outpatient surgery is the same on all but one of these plans, which is $400 at an ambulatory surgical center or $450 in a hospital setting. Advanced imaging on this plan as little as $200 copay in a freestanding facility. And then we are introducing the deductible down to tier 3 on all of our MAPDs that cover drug coverage. You're going to see it's either $450 or $350 on this particular plan. It's a $450 deductible. Again, we've maintained 0 copays on tiers 1 and 2 for most plans. And even on the plans where we did introduce a copay of $5 for tier 2 meds, if they go through Centerwell mail order pharmacy and do a 90-day supply, still a 0 copay there as well. This plan is going to be some preventive dental, $150 towards glasses or contacts when using a plus provider, many of which are iMed providers, Pearl Vision, Lens Crafters, etc. All of our plans that offer a hearing benefit, we're still going to continue to use True Hearing. As an agent, I have some really positive testimonials from my members. I hope you all have experienced the same thing. They can call and say, hey, here's where I'm at, where around me can I go? And True Hearing will say, here's the locations that participate in your area. The exam is covered at 100% by Humana. And then with each plan, we offer 2 sets of copays, one for an advanced level hearing aid, which is typically about a $1,900 device. And then the higher copay is going to be for what we call a premium level hearing aid. Most folks don't need this unless they've been maybe wearing hearing aids since they were much, much younger, experienced some pretty significant loss. That's about a $3,000 device. So that's the amount the member would pay per year. That's always going to include a 3-year extended warranty. It's always going to include an 80-pack of batteries. It's always going to include unlimited consultations the first year they receive those devices if it's not fitting right or not working correctly, that sort of thing. They can always upcharge to rechargeable batteries for $50 a year. And what I love about True Hearing is that they will let your members finance, I believe, for up to 24 months. Because while I realize that on some of these plans, $399, $499, $599 is a great deal on a hearing aid, most seniors don't have $800, $900, $1,000 laying around to chunk it at a set of hearing aids. So they will offer financing to your members, so hopefully that makes it a much more affordable option for them. So again, that's one of our new HMOs. If you don't mind scrolling down, we'll talk about another plan here. This is our 152 HMO, I believe. Yep. So this one's been in the market for a while, y'all. A lot has been maintained on this plan. Again, a little bit, you see there's some grayed out counties there we talked about a moment ago. So a lot has been maintained here in the sense that we still offer the $25 over-the-counter quarterly through Central Well Mail Order Pharmacy. We're still offering $2,000 in dental. It's still got 150 towards glasses and contacts once a year. It's still 0 at the primary, 15 at a specialist. I do want to point out there's a $3 Part B give back. Woo, Humana, you're so generous. Yeah, but that's a great question. And I'll tell you. So when we submit our bids to Medicare and they come back, there's kind of a check-in point called the benchmark. Medicare comes back and says, okay, here's your chance to tinker with the bids. Do you want to put more money in? Do you want to leave it alone? Do you want to take money out? Depending on what your initial bid looked like. And at this point in this year, we said, okay, we want to put more money in the plan. We're going to invest additional dollars. There's only certain ways you can do that after the benchmarks come back. And so for that reason, we decided on a lot of these plans, there's $1, $2, $3, or $4 Part B give back, which as agents were like, are you kidding me right now? And what is the point? But truth be told, that's a little easier to explain than a specialist copay that's $12.45 and 1/2 cents. So that's kind of the why behind that. Again, I realize it's silly. That's not going to be the selling point for anyone on the plan. But if you had 2 plans, you're like, I'm right here. Well, for what it's worth, this one put $4 a month back in your check. So if we're lucky, Medicare won't swallow that up on a Part B increase, but you all know that's probably going to be the case. So a lot of maintenance here. You can see that the advanced imaging gets as little as $160 at a freestanding facility on this plan. Just below that, we do have an RX deductible on this one. I believe it's $350, so a little less here. Still 0 copay for your generics. We were also able to maintain a flat dollar copay for those Tier 3s on all of our plans across the board, y'all, for the MAPDs, which is a big difference when you're talking about, a medicine that's, 25% of a $600 Eliquis or $47 after the deductible's met. So, the tiny victories are the ones I have to take this year. So, I'm happy to be able to share that with you as well. Again, this is kind of a steady edge plan, no deductible, low specialist copay, $2,000 in dental. There's a lot to like here. If someone's over the counter is a hot ticket item for someone. This is a great one to talk about as well. So if you've been selling Humana, you're familiar with this plan. It's kind of been our flagship HMO in the market. The next one's another new HMO. And so this one ends in 171. And I'll talk about the rest of it. But what I'll call to your attention first is just the dental and vision on this one. That's kind of the selling point in my opinion. It's a $3,500 dental benefit. Candidly, y'all, we don't have any plans to cover implants or cosmetic work, but if you got someone that's got a lot of dental work covered, this is certainly one to consider if their doctors are in the HMO network. You can also see it's got a $4 Part B give back there, top left, under the key selling points. It does have a medical deductible of $400. Again, lots of services do not count towards that medical deductible of $400. 0 copay at the primary, $30 to go see a specialist, as little as $200 for advanced imaging. You can see over there on the vision side, we're at $250 for glasses or contacts, and pretty competitive, $399. I believe that's one of our lowest hearing aid copays across the board as well. So, someone's doctors are in the network, they're shopping dental, vision, and hearing. Absolutely think of this plan. It's due everywhere except a couple of counties, which, as you might imagine, are the counties we're exiting on some other plans. But I like this an awful lot, specifically for the dental and vision. Hope you'll find that to be the case as well. A $450 deductible on RX. Kind of those same copays, tiers 1 through 3, 0, 0, and 47. And this is co-insurance on tier 4 and 5.
The $400 in network, can you explain that again?
Yeah, so for, let's say they go tear up their knee on the golf course and the ortho says, hey, I'm going to send you to go get an MRI on Tuesday. they're gonna have to meet that deductible, and then depending on what the remaining balance is after that, they would owe perhaps a copay of $200. I don't know what the negotiated rate for MRI is, but let's assume it's over $600. And then they've met that deductible for the year. But there's lots of services that do not count towards our medical deductibles, like going to see your primary doctor, specialist, urgent care, emergency room, lab work, ambulance rides. For those services, you just pay the copay. The deductibles do not come into play. And in the summary of benefits for every Humana plan, right at the top, it'll say premium, Part B reduction, MOOP, and then deductible. But here's the services that don't count towards that deductible.
Gotcha.
That makes sense. So again, dental, vision, and hearing, I like that plan an awful lot. If you don't mind, Mr. Driver, we'll scroll on out. Perfect. I appreciate it. This is going to be our 345. This is our #1 selling plan in South Carolina this year, y'all. This is a PPO. Done talking traditional HMOs. So again, here I think the challenge is, of course, we're exiting a few counties. Beaufort and Horry County are the pain points here on the coast. The good news is the people that have had it and liked it and loved it, it's going to be very consistent with the way it was this year. In fact, they're getting a $5 increase on their Part B give back. So going up to 105 on that. We're still going to have the $500 deductible, which this plan had this year as well. Zero copay at primary still, 45 at a specialist. You see inpatient hospital is $375 per day for days 1 through 5. As little as $200 for advanced imaging. It's going to be preventive dental really on this plan, as well as the HMO with the give back. So that's going to, with MAPDs, you got to rob Peter to pay Paul in terms of benefits. No plan for traditional beneficiaries has it all. So we've got a bigger give back, so it's preventive dental, a little less on the vision, 150, and still a hearing benefit, but the copays, are a little bit higher there. This one again going to have an RX deductible that expands down to tiers 3, 4, and 5. I believe it's $450. It is. You can see this is one of the plans where we did add a copay on tier 2 for $5 if they go to a retail pharmacy. Yeah.
On the dental in the past, sometimes Humana had plans were saying, hey, you get 2 cleans per year. Is there a limit to that preventative or no?
Probably. I haven't glanced at, I haven't committed to memory, I should say, every dental benefit on the summaries that just got dumped into my inbox recently. But yes, I think there's really only 2 plans where we're offering a true allowance, and that's our LIS PPO and the honor plan with the smaller give back. Everything else is likely to say 2 exams, 2 cleanings, 1 set of bite wing x-rays, kind of the way it's looked in the past. I will say that the HMO that has the larger give back and this plan are not going to offer silver sneakers. Okay, so this is the only plan I think that exists where you have to tell folks that are on it like, hey, silver sneakers not going to be available on this plan for next year. The new HMO, you can say, look, the good news is you're getting $109 a month back on your check. Here's some of the trade-offs with getting that money back on the check every month. All the plans will continue to have Go 365, it's a rewards program where they can call in and get gift cards for things like a annual wellness visit or colorectal cancer screening or going to church or social engagements, things like that.
So any reason why that was dropped in Horry County, that plan?
I'm sure it comes down to utilization. If I had to guess, a lot of our plan exits came down to utilization. Horry and Beaufort are both really, really growing in terms of their retirement populations. So if I had to speculate, I'm sure that's it. If you all don't know, on any plan, we're capped as to how much we can profit. And so what we found in going and diagnosing a lot of these county by county is like, even if we were allowed to profit $50, a month or per person on this plan, we were at -50 or in some cases -100. Yeah.
So what do you think is the good transition from that plan when it gets dropped? What do you think is the natural transition?
In Horry County?
Yep.
I like the HMO with the give back. It's a new plan that's going into Horry County. It's at 109. It's an HMO versus a PPO, but it's 109 on the Part B give back and a lower deductible than they worked with this year. Yeah, of course. So again, this is our Part B give back on the PPO. Scroll on down to the next plan if you don't mind, sir. I appreciate you driving by the way. All right, this is our 347 PPO. Again, I kind of think about it as middle of the road. There's no medical deductible here on this plan. So we got someone that's just a little anxious about that Medicare and the medical deductible. Please consider this plan. Is that really impressive $3 Part B premium reduction there? Woo! Calm down. I get it. So still zero copay at the primary. It's a $30 specialist copay. Inpatient hospital, pretty consistent right there at $3.99 per day, days 1 through 6. Advanced imaging down at $170 at a freestanding facility on this one. I think that's our second lowest copay on like an outpatient MRI. Still $1,500 in dental. Still getting $250 towards glasses or contacts. And the hearing benefit right there. You'll notice on a lot of these slides the transportation says NA. Rip another Band-Aid off. Transportation's coming off of all of our plans across the board. Your folks with Medicaid have an independent transportation benefit through Medicaid. And any member who's on a plan with a healthy options allowance, which we really haven't talked about yet, but we will, our Visa cards can be used for Uber, Lyft, or taxi for non-medical transport, whether they need to go get blood work done or go see their cousin Francine in the next county. They've got some wiggle room on that. So again, someone that's anxious about that deductible is not on this plan. It doesn't come into play. $1,500 in dental. Really only coming out of 2 counties on this plan, so kind of middle of the road. Someone that maybe plans to go out of network. If you have someone like that, this might be one to consider as well. Scrolling right along, let's talk about a new PPO plan we've got rolling out here. This one, of course, is in 423, as you can see there at the top. It does feature a $3 Part B premium reduction. Just like we have a new HMO rolling out with a stronger dental benefit, this would kind of be our comparable plan on the PPO side. You can see it's a $2,500 dental benefit. We're still going to offer $200 towards glasses or contacts and $599 on the hearing aid. Really manageable medical deductible on this one, $275. One of our lowest medical deductible that we're offering for next year on the plans that you do have it. You can see there's still 0 at the primary. It's a $40 specialist copay. A little lower on inpatient hospital, $365 per day, but for days 1 through 6. We're down at $195 on advanced imaging. This one does have a $450 deductible, tiers 3, 4, and 5. But you can see we maintain the 0 copays on generics and $47 on tier 3. So again, if you've got someone who maybe their doctors aren't in our HMO network or they just think HMO is a bad word, I get it, those folks are out there. If they're shopping dental, this is certainly something to consider at $2,500 on the dental side. Rolling right along, this is our LIS PPO. The big change here, y'all, is that this year, 2024, the visa was $50, going down to $25. So if you had, there were some people, I don't know if anyone in the room took advantage of this. This year, there were people who said, hey, I'll put you on this plan even without LIS. The $50 visa takes care of the $46 premium, which is top right there, and then you still get some really rich benefits. That probably would not be the play moving forward. So you have people that are not on LIS on this plan, which again, some people never thought to do that, others made a business out of it. That's something to consider moving forward. It has a $1 hit back. I realize that's wonky on a plan with a $46 premium. So that would really only benefit someone that was not on LIS on this plan, which again, I don't think is probably the play for most folks for next year. LIS, of course, eliminates that premium of $46. It also takes care of what we'll see on the drug side in a minute. Obviously, if someone has LIS determines what they pay for the prescriptions. This is one of the plans with a true allowance on the dental side, so $1,250 first dollar coverage. We kind of describe it as a bucket of money. Ask that you never describe it the same way to members, but kind of think about it like that. So no cosmetic work, no implants, but outside of that, it's first dollar coverage in or out of network. The plan is still going to offer a 0 copay at the primary, only $10 at a specialist, as little as $175 for advanced imaging, and a $350 vision allowance. That's an increase from where the plan was this year. The other big change with the visa on this plan is that this year, in 2024, you did an HRA, and if they sneezed at pollen, they got a visa card. Next year, it is going to be triggered by an actual claim related to specific chronic health conditions. So it won't be quite as simple as this year where you have allergies? Yeah, you do. That's right. Here's a visa. So it's going to be a little different next year. Speaking of HRAs, one more Band-Aid to rip off. We're not banned. I'll tell you why. I get it. And I know some people are, but here's the deal. If you don't know this, CMS, in the final rule, which God is on hold for a little bit longer, they came out and said what the fair market value of an HRA is, and it's under $5 according to CMS. So Humana is all in on Medicare business. If you don't know that about us, that's all we do is supplements, Medicare Advantage, PDP, and then we do have a little dental and vision. But we're not a company with other lines of business like ACA or group. It's kind of subsidized. So we don't want to poke the bear at CMS too terribly much before a lot of changes are potentially coming down the pike again for next year. So that's one of the reasons that we decided not to pay on the HRA. The other thing that I'll share with you as it relates to that is some of the money that they were going to spend paying out on HRAs, had they decided to do that, they decided to invest into our marketing budget instead. So nationally, we have over $2 million additional dollars to invest with individual agents to help you with your marketing, whether that's buying leads, sending out mailers, staffing a table at Walmart, whatever it is that you do to go out and drum up business. So, we won't be auctioning those off today, but if you've got a marketing plan and you think there's a way I can support you, and I get the nod from the folks here, I'd be happy to do that, and we'll kind of address those on the ones. That being said, that's our LIS PPO. And here we go, we're talking about our 244, yep.
So that LIS PPO, I guess there's a little bit of confusion as far as that debit card, what enabled them to get it over this last year. We would call member services and they were like, well, you need this, and they didn't even know. So what's going to be the trigger? Because it's in the book, hey, you get this, but then when they don't get it, clients are upset. So what's the trigger to get the card?
Yeah, next year there's a slimmer list of qualifying health conditions, and it's triggered by an actual medical claim as it relates to a list of conditions for next year. This year, there was a broader list of conditions, and your HRA completion was supposed to trigger that for 2024. And again, I know you have some trouble with it. Even things, putting it mildly, even things as simple as having allergies this year or migraines, which most folks in pollen season will go through something like that, would have done it for this year. Next year, again, it's going to take a medical claim, so it's not a guarantee. And I expect there to be some more detailed verbiage in the summaries for next year that kind of, since it's changing from, I think they call it from something to do with VBID. So there will be a change in kind of what triggers that for next year.
So those existing plans that migrate over, they also are the same rules as new people? And in regards to that grocery card, so if that card, you're getting the card now, but it's not gonna carry over to next year?
That's a good question. I don't have a firm answer on that, but I'll find out. I would expect so, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to leave you some homework on that, Fred.
So will we have a list of what those claims need to be before we start presenting this?
Yes, I will be able to get a list of those conditions.
You just guessed.
All right, so that's our LS PPO. Now we're talking C-SNP, right? Yeah, here we go. All right, so this is our PPO C-SNP, y'all. With these, my expectation is the visa is automatic because they have to have the health condition to get on the plan. I know that question will pop up. It's a little decrease on the visa on this PPO C-SNP from 50 to 45. To balance that off, there is a $3 give back, so we're right in the neighborhood of what they were getting per month in terms of savings and additional benefits. This is still going to be a zero copay. The primary, $45 specialist copay, it's a little tick up there. Lower outpatient advanced imaging copay at $180. You see inpatient hospital in line with most of our other stuff, $399 per day, days 1 through 6. This is really just preventive dental on this plan. Going into next year, it's I think a bit of a change, whereas even with a $2,000 allowance on this plan this year, there's going to be some preventive dental for next year. It does have 154 glasses or contacts. The biggest change with our C-SNPs, both of them, is that right now we have a 6-tier formulary, and the 6th tier were all medications that treated one of the qualifying health conditions, which are diabetes or cardiovascular disorder, not congestive heart failure. And the biggest change with these C-SNPs is we are going to a 5-tier formulary, which just to be very transparent with you, the folks that I feel that will impact the most are your diabetics who are taking Janumet, Januvia, and Jardiance. These are tier 6 medicines right now, which meant that they paid zero copay until they hit the donut hole. Then once they're in the donut hole, we all know how that works. So going to a 5-tier formulary, we can assume, I haven't seen it, but I'll just assume those are going to be tier 3 medicines, and there will be a deductible extending to the 3rd tier as well. So as you're out there in the field, as you talk to your folks and review the coverages, make yourself a note if they're on these C-SNPs, like, hey, just asking, we got a couple medications that are pretty big change with for next year. Do one of these apply to you, that kind of thing, because we don't want anyone to walk into the pharmacy and be irate because they got a big old copay and you got to figure out which kidney to sell to fill their Janumet in January, okay? So make a note as you're going through this year on both the C-SNP plans, that's going to be the case. Going to 5-tier formulary, and those 3 medicines in particular, I think will feel like an awful big change.
What was the medicine in Jardians with the other two?
Yeah, Janumet, Januvia, Jardians are your 3 J medications that treat the sugar.
All right, is the OTC gonna be the same thing as the qualifying condition thing, or is it
No,
just
I
not there altogether?
no, I do anticipate the visa being automatic on the C-SNP plans because they have to have the health condition to get on the plan to begin with. So it should be $45 on the visa, and again, there's a $3 Part B give back. Gosh, I really like this Canaleo. I like the HMO C-SNP better than this one. I'll tell you all the reasons why on the next slide, but if someone just is opposed to an HMO or their doctors are not in our HMO network, sure, here it is, absolutely. But I like the HMO a lot better. I think it's the next plan up, if you don't mind. Just scoot me on down. Look at there, perfect. All right, y'all. An increase on this Healthy Options visa. It was at 75 this year. We're up to 85, and we threw a $2 Part B give back on there. So that's some good news for our C-SNP members. Still a 0 at the primary, still 40 at the specialist. Inpatient hospital, right in line with everything else, $3.99 per day, days 1 through 6. We're down to $200 for a advanced imaging copay. Same thing with the prescriptions now, going from 6 years to 5. Same 3 medicines are concerned. If you talk to those folks, let them know it's going to be different. This plan is still going to have 0 copays from insulins on the formulary. If you come across an insulin-dependent diabetic, this is a slam dunk in my mind. Not insulin substitutes or insulin alternatives, but true insulins that are on the formulary. That's the same way it was this year, so that's not a change, but I just want to confirm for you that's going to remain the same for next year. We still are offering a $1,000 dental benefit on this one. It's still got $150 towards glasses or contacts. Pretty competitive on the hearing copay there. So yeah, between the 2 C-SNP plans, this one's my preference. More on the visa, plus a little bit on the give back. A $3,000 dental benefit, 0 copays on the insulin. So between the 2, that's my pick. And again, for folks that are right in Beaufort County, that I know there's slim pickings moving forward. Some of those folks, probably 40-50% at least, that are experiencing Plan X in Beaufort County, if they don't want to sup, can't afford to sup, would be eligible for one of these plans. Realistically, we're in the South. A lot of folks have diabetes and heart issues.
Where does it show that visa?
I'm sorry?
Up at the top.
Very top.
Includes Healthy Options allowance
Yeah,
of
they
85.
didn't drop it in the bottom part for me, so I put it on the key selling points for all these plans. All right, friends.
Is this still gonna be, Humalog or even Medlog too?
I don't know any changes to the formulary, outside of the fact that it's going from 6 to 5. I would say probably no change. We've traditionally always covered one or the other, either Humalog or Novolog, Humulin or Novolin, that type of thing. All right, here y'all, and then our honor plans. So still endorsed by USAA. If you don't know, y'all, we have a concierge customer service line for veteran members, even if they're not on the honor plan. You don't have this number 1-800-HUM-VETS, HUMVETS. It's a concierge veteran customer service line. It is Monday through Friday, but 1-800-HUM, like Humana, VETS, VETS is a concierge customer service line for veterans. Encourage you to pass that out. It's a nice thing to be able to do, just a little above and beyond for our servicemen and women that choose to go with Humana for their private coverage. We are still endorsed and recommended by USAA on the honor plan, so we're really excited about that. There's a tremendous amount of weight in that veteran community. I'll just say on both these plans, the Part B give back stayed right where it was from last year. We're still at $140 on the 286. We're still at $60 on the other one, the 217. And just like in years past, kind of the decision to make is would you rather have a more give back or a little less give back, but maybe lower copays and a little bit more dental. And I'll highlight that as we kind of go through here. You can see there, this is the 286 honor plan. It's got a $20 copay at a primary, $55 at a specialist. Inpatient hospitals $430 per day for days 1 through 5. Advanced imaging all the way down there at $175 at a freestanding facility. Does have a $1,000 dental benefit, $150 towards glasses or contacts. As a reminder, kind of 3 types of veteran you come across. Folks with VA benefits who were serving less than 20 years, they have service-connected disabilities. And if you're new or just not as familiar with this, my short version of this is that the VA is like Vegas. What happens there stays there for the most part. And so these veterans, they might want a second opinion or to see an orthopedic surgeon faster than the VA can get them to see one of their own. So when they go out into the civilian world and use civilian doctors, this is the plan that they're probably going to want to consider. It's more predictable copays when they use it. You know, certainly if they go to the ER for something that's unrelated to their service-connected disability, you'd rather be paying our ER copay versus 20% with Medicare. And so that being the case, those are your folks with VA benefits. Again, they serve less than 20 years. They have benefits to the Veterans Administration. Then you've got TRICARE for Life members. These folks served over 20 years. They made a career out of the military. When they turn 65, they have original Medicare A and B, and their TRICARE Prime or Standard turns into TRICARE for Life. The spouse also gets this. So with TRICARE for Life, we're always talking about the household as they're both going to have it. And this works a little differently, right? When they have an honor plan or any MA, the private carrier becomes the primary coverage. TRICARE for Life is still the secondary. And so for someone like TRICARE for Life is going to come in and pay all these copays that you see. It is one extra step for the folks at the billing office for them to bill TRICARE after Humana versus if they had original Medicare and TRICARE. It's very seamless with original Medicare and TRICARE, I get that. But again, we're talking about $280 a month going back into that veteran's home. And so a lot of folks are willing to just simply ask their doctor and say, hey, Humana is my primary, please go TRICARE after that. And that's very doable. And on the occasion, which is a rare occasion, I'll tell you that a small mom and pop physician's office is unwilling to take that extra step, like that's Karen, she does everything for us, we can't ask her to do one more thing. You can download the claim form for TRICARE. If you can Google it right now and download it, the member can always submit right to TRICARE for reimbursement themselves. That's that's a little cumbersome. We don't want them to have to do that on a regular basis, but for a lot of those folks, occasionally, if one of their doctors is unwilling to play ball, they're willing to do that and get the extra $280 a month back in the house for them and their spouse, $140 each. So that's the 286 honor plan. The other one again, Part B, right where it was last year. If you got a VA member who's really planning to use their plan in the civilian world, it might be worth considering this plan. Although the Part B give back is significantly less, the copays and maximum out of pocket are significantly less than that other honor plan as well. You can see this is a rare exception for us this year at a $6,700 maximum. Only $10 to see your primary, $50 at a specialist. Inpatient hospitals down at $245, so pretty significant outlier within Humana's plans for next year. That's for days 1 through 6. Another outlying benefit, I swear I thought this was a typo, but skilled nursing, $10 per day for days 1 through 20. Don't ask me why, I don't have an answer. Don't. So it's a bit odd, hopefully no one's running into that. And then outpatient surgery down there at $195, again, some lower copays here. $180 for advanced imaging. This is the other plan I mentioned that has a true dental allowance. On the dental side, so $1,500, think bucket of money. Please don't say bucket of money. Excludes cosmetic work and implants, but everything else, be good to go in or out of network. Still going to give $150 on the glasses or contacts. And so again, between the two honor plans, you don't have to be a veteran to get an honor plan, by the way. It's designed for veterans and was designed with them in mind, but you don't have to be a veteran. Occasionally, you're going to run into someone that says, hey, I don't believe in prescription drugs, I'm not going to take them, even if I get diagnosed with such and such. I'm not paying a penalty, I don't ever want it. Okay, fine, take it. You'll also run into veterans that say, I get everything in the VA, I don't need anything else. You don't need it, but you can literally just take the money from Humana and run. That's okay. It's our way to say thank you for everything that you and your family have done for us. So just a couple caveats there when it comes to those honor plans.
So that's skilled nursing, like they pay basically a total of $200, and if they needed 100 days worth of skilled nursing care, the rest is free?
No, I just don't have when we release these product guides, I don't think we have the days 21 through 100 copay.
Yeah, normally it is. It's like 204. That's why I was like.
Right. Normally it would be 0 the first 20 days, right, and then 204 days 21 through 100. And I anticipate days 21 through 100 still look very similar. This is just bizarre because I've never in 12 years seen a copay on the first 20 days of skilled nursing. So that's kind of the anomaly to me. And obviously nothing to talk about here on the drugs because they're MA on the plans. All right, I think that's most of the highlights. We do have our drug programs on here. Good news, bad news, we're paying commissions on PDPs. That's the good news. The prices are up there. Oh, I'm sorry, we can talk about that. I would do that too. All right, so our DSNet, this is our PPO DSNet, and candidly, y'all, If I was an agent, I'd be putting everyone on this plan for next year. And I'll tell you why. First of all, it's the visa stayed right where they were this year. It's $200 a month on the visa for this one. With rollover, by the way, all of our visas include rollover all year long. I think we're the only company doing that for next year. This plan also has $3,000 in dental. We still accept full Medicaid only members on this, so FBDE, which is full benefits dual eligible, and then QMB Plus and SLMB Plus Medicaid levels are accepted on this plan. How are we going to check on those, Ian? Good question. And I wish I had a real firm answer for you. Candidly, I know that our tool has been down really since February. Our Medicare lookup tool is up and working. The Medicaid piece is not up and running yet. They're telling us they're hopeful it's for October 1 to be up and running by then. That's getting awful close. So I don't have a million tons of confidence that will be the case. I was told by Lombardi that WellCare has a lookup line that you don't need a writing number for. You can call 1-800-MEDICAID. You can, let's see, Medicaid. If someone in your upline doesn't already have access to Marks, I can put in a request for someone in the house to get access to Marks. Now, whoever that is, your phone's gonna ring. But I can help you look into that. Which, if you don't know, Marks is a CMS website which will tell you everything short of someone's favorite color that you would need to know about. Medicaid, their last couple Medicare plans, their A and B effective dates. Did they already use their OEP election period, that kind of thing. So we'll look into that. But the C-SNP PPO, again, I like this for full Medicaid folks. Obviously, Medicaid comes in and picks up all these copays here, so we don't have to worry about that. In South Carolina, there's a 6-month deeming period, so even if your member didn't read their mail and lost their Medicaid status, we let them stay on that plan for 6 months after we realize that Medicaid has been dropped. That gives them time to reapply and get hopefully approved for Medicaid again. Again, a $3,000 dental benefit. This is just the plan, quite candidly, when it comes to Medicaid folks. And I'll share with you why as we kind of go to the next slide.
Does it still offer in-home support next year?
It does not. That additional in-home benefit came off of the D-SNPs, it came off the LIS PPO, and it came off the 152. So we're not offering that again for next year.
What about that $500 chronic supplemental allowance? Is that going through?
I think some plans are going to offer that, but maybe not many. I think the 347 PPO is one of the only ones that kept it for next year. That will be in the benefit summaries, which again I just haven't got access to here in the last little bit. Yes, sir.
Is there still a rollover on the card?
Yep, all of our Visa cards still include rollover from month to month, 100%.
So do they have the chronic qualification with the dual plan for the card like the other one?
No, just on the LIS, and then of course it's automatic with the C-SNP because they have to have the health condition to get it. Let's see here, the HMO. This is our 082, our D-SNP HMO. 175 on the Visa, 2,000 in dental. The only thing the HMO really has going for it over the PPO is an extra $100 on glasses. The HMO is $550, PPO is $450, but again, extra $25 a month on the Visa on the PPO, extra $1,000 in dental on the PPO. So for me, if I'm an agent, that's what I'm writing with my D-SNP folks, and obviously PPO is going to be more flexible in terms of network and use. The other thing that I'll share with you up to the top here, yes, second bullet point. We had a third D-SNP. It was available in Charleston County, Richland County, and some upstate counties. It is going away, but the members are automatically being migrated to this HMO D-SNP ending in 082. The old plan that's going away, that ended in 153, they're being crosswalked. Well, Ian, why didn't you just put them in the PPO D-SNP so they keep $200 a month on their card? Well, when you migrate someone from one plan to another, you have to migrate them to another plan where the first 4 numbers of the contract are the same, meaning an HMO to an HMO. So that's why we can only put them on a plan that started with 5619. So if I were an agent and I had people on this 153, I would reach out to them and say, hey, you don't have to change. You're going to have a Humana HMO D-SNP next year, but if you liked having 200 on the card and you'd like a little bit more dental, I consider that 277 PPO D-SNP. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's all we're in this. All right. So we are paying commissions. Good! Who put that up there? Oh gosh. Yes, that's great. Is it crazier than pulling your renewals? Who said that? That's weird.
$151 for drug test?
Yeah, there's no deductible.
And 90 cents.
I mean, listen, we obviously don't have billions of people on this plan, and there's a reason. Is it the right fit for someone? Presumably. Yeah. So I get it, y'all. That's I understand. I know it's out there. So good news, bad news. Good news, we're paying commissions. Bad news is it's not the most competitive price point. Is that the right way to say that? So what was previously our Walmart value plan is now simply called a value plan. It is, closer in line with some of the commissionable PDPs that are out there at $58.30. There's no deductible on tiers 1 and 2. And then our basic RX has been non-commissionable for 4 or 5 years. That's still the case. You would never really want to put anyone on that anyway. It's really for folks who get LIS and automatically assigned to a PDP. And then the old premium. The basic, that's our non-commissionable. Don't worry about that. That's for folks who have LIS. And then that premium plan, 150, 190, whatever it is. I get it. So these are just some of the legacy plans. I know there's a lot going on this year, y'all. I know there's a bigger demand being put on you probably than any year since 2006, quite candidly. I know a lot of you have a lot of tread water to do just to maintain your book of business. It's not lost on me. I'm not envious of it. I do want to offer support to you and help you as you're out there tackling that challenge, because I know it's an immense one. So, please lean on me. I'm happy to answer some questions if you have them right now. I won't beat your head over the anvil with any more slides here, but happy to answer questions. And what do you see in front of you? What is this? Great question. It's whatever you want it to be, excuse me. Whatever you want it to be.